For today's review, I want to talk about an award-winning drama about a brilliant mind who unfortunately suffers a terrible affliction, but the love story that triumphs in the midst of this, and the woman by his side who helps him through these tough times. Yes, of course, I'm talking about The Theory of Everything, A Beautiful Mind. This is a 2001 winner for Best Picture, starring Russell Crowe and Jennifer Connelly, directed by Ron Howard, a big winner for that year. Best Picture, Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, Ron Howard. Ron Howard finally wins an Oscar. It's about time, huh? I think it's a great movie. It's drama done very well, and it deals with kind of, I guess, subject matter that we don't see dealt with too much. Mental illness, definitely something that can be shown in maybe insensitive ways in movies, but this really shows kind of the triumph over this kind of affliction that the great mathematician John Nash undergoes. But what is kind of interesting is that the movie probably was hard to market because the anchor to this movie is how he is overcoming this paranoid schizophrenia, this delusions that he's having, seeing things that aren't really there, seeing people that aren't really there, all figments of his mind and this disease. But the movie's kind of structured in a way where it's almost like a twist, maybe about halfway through the movie. But I think it is done in such a clever way that unless you know the true story going into it, or if someone has told you about this movie going into it, the movie sweeps you up with its other aspects before that's able to be done. Because if you didn't know anything, which I saw this in theaters, all those 2001, all those years ago, I knew nothing about it, so I was like, wow, what is this? It's turning into kind of like a spy thriller. That's kind of cool. There's so many genres that it plays with. I think Ron Howard clearly has a lot of fun with the material and gives it a lot of heart that Ron Howard is so expert in doing. We do see this brilliant mind, and the way the movie plays out, we are able to see almost how his mind works, and maybe like a really cheesy kind of way, but you see numbers flying across the screen and stuff like that, and flashing, and he sees the equations, all that stuff. We see the romance begin with Jennifer Connelly, so it becomes this nice romance. Then all of a sudden, he's hired for this government work. Ed Harris, big fucking tough guy, government agent, So we think, okay, so it's like an espionage kind of thing. But no, I mean, in case you haven't seen it in all this time, spoiler alert. Wait, I already mentioned, never mind, I've spoiled the whole movie anyway. He's having delusions, and he's not really seeing these government people. Even his longtime roommate, someone who he's bonded with and come to know throughout his whole life, has been a figment of his imagination, which... they play not too much, but, on this dramatic angle of that, this good friend of his has been just in his mind the whole time. That's heavy stuff. So I think it deals with the material in a sensitive kind of way, and in a way that it does play up the drama between the two characters and the love story that emerges through all of this. And what I do really like about it, similar to... I talked about this before, but Coal Miner's Daughter, where it is about not just, say, a destination, not like, oh, they got married, they lived happily ever after, it was great. No, they actually show the love story go beyond all that. They show them into their elder years, which I think is great. Again, you don't see that too much, so it's nice to see a love story, one, reach where it's supposed to go, reach the destination that the plot requires, but then goes beyond that. It shows that they grew old together, they still remain married, they still are in love. That's great. That's somewhat Hollywood, but you don't see that too often, so I like that. The movie did and still does kind of come under some criticisms that it's not too faithful to the real life story. Well, I wouldn't say that. Maybe just the too Hollywoodized version of this story. Like, they omit certain things, like any Hollywood movie does. But they took the general story and this, amazing triumph of the mind, of the spirit, of the heart, and I think it does it really well. Russell Crowe is great in his role, playing John Nash. I mean, this is the same guy who was fucking Maximus in Gladiator, the same guy who was kind of the anger-filled whistleblower in The Insider. Here, he's such a diverse actor, and playing John Nash, kind of the timid and always thinking kind of character. Like, you kind of see his head kind of bobbing around, stuttering a little bit, and his mind's always working, and I think that's really well done. And like the southern twang as well. So that this guy was once the Australian badass from Romper Stomper. That's miles away from that. So bravo to Russell Crowe. And Jennifer Connelly, I mean, she's just one of our greatest actresses. She's done so many great movies. Probably my favorite performance wouldn't be this one, maybe House of Sand and Fog, which she wasn't even nominated for, but this won her the Oscars. So that was kind of a big deal. This was, hey, Jennifer Connelly, she's fucking made it. This is kind of her recognition as one of our great actresses. So I think everyone has loved her, probably since, Labyrinth. So yeah, I thought it was an Oscar well-deserved, so well done on Jennifer Connelly. Russell Crowe didn't win that year for many reasons, probably because, for one, he had won the year before for Gladiator. Somehow he won for that. Not knocking Gladiator, but, I don't know. But if anything, he should have, between this and Gladiator, I think he should have won for this, in my opinion. But it was like, do we really give Russell Crowe 2 Oscars in a row? Is he really that Tom Hanks-esque kind of actor? Or Spencer Tracy? Those were the only 2 actors who had won twice in a row. And it's kind of like, well, no, not quite. I don't know, but I think the nail in the coffin was he displayed some strange behavior around award season. Like, he had won, I think it was either the SAG or the BAFTA, and in the broadcast they edited his speech. Then he went to the editing room after. He's like, "Why the fuck did you edit my speech?" or whatever, and almost beat the guy up, and that got in the news. I remember. So I was like, his Oscar flies away. But Denzel Washington won that year for Training Day, so that's pretty awesome. But that's a story for another day. Beautiful Mind, great movie, a great love story, really, and full of great characters, great acting. We have a great supporting cast. Christopher Plummer is in the movie. That guy who used to be Bradley Cooper was in the movie. What is his name? I can't remember. What is his name? Josh Lucas, that guy. Judd Hirsch is in the movie. Adam Goldberg. Playing the roommate is Paul Bettany, who I think, isn't he married to Jennifer Connelly? So maybe they met during this movie. I don't know. But yeah, great cast. Ron Howard, great director. Definitely deserved his due. I mean, I think this must have been his first nomination, now that I think about it, because he was snubbed for Apollo 13. So, finally giving him his due, because he's a great director, and I think even though he has an Oscar now, he kind of goes a little bit underrated as one of the best directors still working. I mean, he's done great movie after great movie. So yeah, it's nice that he has an Oscar on his shelf somewhere. So I really enjoy this movie. I think it's a fair enough Best Picture win. Kind of I'd say generally a safe movie. Something you watch with your grandma, which you couldn't necessarily do is say something like, 12 Years a Slave without hearing some really racist comments from her. But that's a story for another day. Thank you for watching this review. Give me a thumbs up if you like. Comment. Let me know what you think about A Beautiful Mind. And if you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button wherever it is. And more reviews to come. I'll see you later.